What is going on, everybody? Welcome back. It is episode 915 of Pop Culture Crisis. My name is Brett, and I am here once again with my co-host. Introduce yourself, please.
Hello, Crisis actors. It's Mary. I know you're all very excited that Brett is back. It's been a crazy week that you were gone. Truly, in so many ways.
Frosty Chaos in the chat says, Brett wondering why the chair feels off. Actually, I got in and Tate did very well to not, he didn't mess with any of the settings. He left the chair the same. I did get in, and this happens every time that I've ever left. I come back and I go, yeah, everything feels a little bit different. But I do, before we get started, guys, I want to offer a huge thank you to Tate, to Alex, and to Jessica for all of the help that they gave us last week. Tate did a great job helping out, sitting in this chair, and Alex and Jessica, they did great work. So thank you guys so much for that, for allowing me the time to be able to leave for a bit and get married and go on my honeymoon. If it wasn't for you guys, I wouldn't have been able to. So thank you.
You're wearing the ring?
Yes. Oh, and
yes. It's making a lot of noise when you're slamming on the table, which we didn't even realize you did that often.
I knew as soon as I got it, because it was happening at home too. I'll be in the kitchen getting something from the fridge, and I'll set it down and I'll like this.
I mean, it's a thick ring. That's a large ring as far as rings go.
I mean, I guess it's
most wedding bands aren't that big.
I don't know. It was just it works, and I like it. I did get a silicone ring to wear while skating, which is it's around the same size, but obviously doesn't make any noise because it doesn't. But yeah, you're gonna keep hearing that.
We have a 20 from Shane H. Wilder. Happy Monday, Brett and Mary. Welcome back, Brett. The recorded prayer space for Charlie went well. Thanks all who came out, and thanks to Olivia for speaking so I could get water after praying for 40 minutes. I've lost my voice. Worth it. I'm glad you did that. And huge welcome back to Brett, a married man now.
Yes. Indeed, and Mary was at the.
It's gonna change around here.
It does feel different. It does
feels different to be married.
Yeah, it does in a good way.
What does it feel like?
It's the best way to It does feel like you have infinitely more responsibilities, but also everything does feel, cliche as it may be, a little bit better. I think it's a little bit easier for me because me and Olivia never really left any sort of honeymoon phase, even 2 years in. So when you know you're marrying the right person, you don't have to have...
It's been 2 years.
Almost 2 years.
Wow.
A little under 2 years. But, talking for longer than that, but dating, But the thing is, when you know you're marrying the right person, you don't have those second thoughts.
We were just talking more about the wedding and some things that are just never, they have to, what happens at Brett's wedding stays at Brett's wedding.
Yes.
But I was having a lot of fun, and I said, my biggest regret about Brett's wedding is that I didn't drink more, to be honest.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you were stone cold sober by the end.
I really was. Yeah, did you think I was drunk?
I mean, you were having so much fun. I had to assume that was
that's the funny
alcohol
thing.
Related.
So I waited for the photographers to leave.
Yeah.
I waited for them to clock out. And then I was like, okay, now I'm going to start dancing because I didn't want to end up in the photo albums breaking down. So, yeah, I was pretty much stone cold sober and dancing I was one of the last people there and requesting a bunch of songs that weren't on the playlist.
That's okay. I did laugh because during the ceremony there were babies and they were making noise, and Olivia loved it. She's because I was looking at her to make sure that she was okay with it and everything. Because you see we've talked about it on here before, right? The people they expect their wedding to go a certain way. Some people have no baby ceremonies, and
we talked about that once on the show. And I think I recall your take being, the babies are just as much invited as the rest of them. But I think Phil had a different take. Phil was on that day, and he said that he thinks you shouldn't have babies at the ceremony.
I mean, look, I understand the idea that if you want to do it that way, but don't get mad at them if you invite them and then they do
Right.
Do what babies do.
But, yeah.
There's 3 babies at our wedding. They were all having a conversation while we were getting married.
Yeah. I didn't even notice it, to be honest.
I mean, I only noticed it because what I wanted more than anything was for the day to be perfect for Olivia. To me, it was more like the baby's going to interrupt my concentration, which did happen. I will share the story. that so while we were saying our vows, we did like the vows that you recite from the pastor, and then we also did our own personalized vows, which I was terrified to do because I suck at reading, and even though I wrote them, you know, I was like, I had to like look at it. And during the vows that you recite from the pastor, first of all, he's facing my bad ear, so I can't understand anything I'm like guessing on what he's saying, and instead of I thee wed, I said I be wed.
I didn't even notice it. Brett mentioned it this morning, and I was like, I didn't even remember that happening.
It was amazing.
I don't think anyone else noticed.
And Olivia's like, thee wed, and I'm like, crap.
I don't think anyone noticed.
No, they didn't, because I like looked to everybody and like corrected myself to like laugh it off, and everybody was just like kept going. Yeah. You know, but other than that, it was it was magical. It was, my dad got to come out, my brother got to come out, got to see my family. And I'm marrying into an incredible family with incredible people. So I got very, very lucky. And thank you guys so much for sticking with the show while I was gone. And thank you, Tate. Again, thank you to Tate, Alex, and Jessica. You guys did so much for me while I was gone, so I appreciate that very much. So what are we getting into? And I'm sure I'm forgetting something, but I'm you know.
We're getting back into the swing of things.
We're getting back in the swing of things. Yeah. But we got a bunch of stuff to get into today. But hit the like button on this video and subscribe to the channel, perhaps, if you are new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Please and thank you. Remember to share this episode and all of the segments out with everybody in your life that you both love and hate. The more people that you share the show with, the faster this channel can grow. We're kind of in a slump with growth right now.
Don't tell them.
Like, guys, you gotta get in. No, it's been, you know, I think it was like the algorithm changed a couple weeks ago. Yeah. It wasn't because of anything recently. It's been going on for a while now. Share the videos out, everybody. Share it out with everybody, because we want to get more people to join us and subscribe to the channel. So please go ahead and do that.
We have another 20 from Pop Culture Junkie. Brett, congratulations again. Hope you had a great honeymoon, and so pleased that both you and Mary had a great time at your reception. I'm assuming no pretzels were served, despite they do absorb alcohol well. There were no pretzels, from what I recall.
No pretzels.
The dessert was chef's kiss. Yeah. I really liked.
What was it again? It was
I was like the only person eating dessert. Like,
oh no, there was people. Like, people took platefuls with them.
I mean, I did that a couple times, yeah. But it was yeah, really good.
So
I was like, there were these chocolates and they had like wrappers on them. I was like, oh, I'm gonna like take it out of the wrapper, but the wrapper was made of chocolate. Incredible stuff.
We aim to please. So guys, we got a 20 over here on Rumble. I will read this one really quick. From Glitches, says, we missed you, Brett. Horrible week. Mary never brought us any cue to the day. Did you take her last name, or did you hyphenate? I hyphenated.
Oh, controversial.
Yeah, no. No, if see, the thing is, Glitches, you're watching on Rumble. If you were over on YouTube right now, you would see that Olivia is over there in the chat, and she did not hyphenate. You know, she did in fact take my last name. There was a cute story about it, the whole thing, but you'd had to have been at the wedding, and it's not my place to divulge it. So. What are we getting into today? We got a bunch of stuff to get into. We're going to talk about the endless cringe that was the Emmys. As you know, nobody actually likes award shows anymore, not even the people who go to the award shows. But we are going to talk about all of the endless cringe from last night's Emmys, which nobody watches. They just watch the clips on X. So we're going to talk about that. Also, Lily Collins is looking extremely thin, and Mary's got some questions.
I have many questions, mostly opinions to share about it, given that she herself is fashioned as an activist for body positivity. Yep. And now she looks like Skeletor. So
we're going to talk about that. We are also going to talk about Taylor Swift, the bulletproof barrier that was between her and the rest of the world at the Chiefs game, and what that could mean for other such questions that we are going to ask.
Shotgun wedding, perhaps? It's an open question. I actually educated Phil on what a shotgun wedding is last week. He didn't know.
It's one of those things. So it was like a joke on... like in NCIS, where Ziva would say some American phrase, and then she'd ask why is that phrase what it is, and nobody knows what any of it means, because you just know the phrase, you just don't know necessarily where it comes from. I don't know if shotgun wedding was everyone, but even then I'm like, why is it called a shotgun wedding? It's
pretty straightforward.
It makes it, when you give it an inch of thought, and you're like, yeah, it makes perfect sense. We'll get into that. We got a bunch of other stuff. Are you ready to get going?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's go for it.
So I wanted to point this out because it's just a glimmer of positivity in the darkness of the news cycle these past few days. Coldplay's Chris Martin was at Wembley Stadium a couple of nights ago, and he encouraged this audience of over 80,000 people to send love to the family of Charlie Kirk. And I was happy to see that, you know, the reaction from the crowd was positive as well, and that they didn't rebel against what he was trying to do in that moment. Let's show that video.
Yep, here we go.
And so, with that in mind, for the final time for a few years in London, let's raise our hands like this and send love anywhere you want to send it in the world. And there are so many places that might need it today. So here it comes from London. You can send this to your brother or your sister. You can send it to the families of people who've been going through terrible stuff. You can send it to Charlie Kirk's family. You can send it to anybody's family. You can send it to people you disagree with, but you send them love anyway. You can send it to peaceful people in the Middle East, in Ukraine, in Russia, in Azerbaijan, in Sudan, in Somalia, anywhere that you think might need love from London. Here it comes. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go.
So he did mention Charlie Kirk's family there, and I didn't notice any negative reaction from the audience.
No, it would have been very standout too, because the crowd remained pretty silent through all of this. Right. Somalia got a big shout out.
Yeah, I don't know what that was about.
But in general. And it runs very contrary to a lot of everything else we're seeing here. So.
Well, including this awful speech that was given by the frontman of Bob Vylan, which we discussed over back when Glastonbury Festival was going on. He ended up getting banned from, I believe, he was banned from the United States for what he said at Glastonbury. He was chanting death to the IDF and being extremely inflammatory. At this recent concert in Amsterdam, he went off dedicating a performance to Charlie Kirk in the worst way possible. So here's what he said.
I want to dedicate this next one to an absolute piece of shit of a human being. The pronouns was, were. Because if you chat shit, you will get banned. Rest in peace, Charlie Kirk, you piece of shit.
And obviously the average person who goes to a Bob Vylan concert is completely in line with the sentiment that he was sharing there. They're the prime example of like just the absolute scum of society that's celebrating this right now and ridiculing it. And I'm not surprised whatsoever that he said those things. However, I don't understand why you would say that with your whole chest on stage in front of people recording you. You knew that it was going to go viral. You knew that it was going to get attention. And then you walk it back and you fully just lie about it after the fact. He went on his X and recorded this video acting like none of that happened. And he said, we didn't celebrate Charlie Kirk's death at all. What are you talking about? Calm down. What are you, offended?
You know what I think it is, and I honestly do believe this, is one of the things that we've seen. And by the way, I want to offer my condolences to his family, to everything. We were gone while all this was going on. It was horrific. But one of the things that I've seen is that they don't watch the clips. So they have these predisposed notions of who Charlie Kirk was based on one of two things: either transcript of edited clips or watching edited clips themselves. They don't actually watch anything in its full context. So what he's doing right now, he's playing to exactly the type of person that would feel that way, which is he's just going to lie. He's going to pretend he didn't do it, knowing that either they already believe him and aren't going to check, or they're not going to check anyways because they don't actually look into these things. It is just a form of, it's lie by omission in the worst possible way, which is like you just tell the next lie and you know that even if only half the people buy it, that's half more than would have believed beforehand. And that's just a tactic of people with no actual morals.
Well, this guy knows that he's not going to lose any fans over this because they're all completely aligned with him ideologically. And I would say for a lot of people, yes, they're ignorant to what Charlie actually expressed and what his views were. But a lot of them know full well what his views were, and they know full well that he was engaging in peaceful debate and that he never advocated for violence. And they don't care. They still think that he deserved what happened to him because they're so entrenched in vice and their intellect is completely darkened by evil. But here is what he offered as a way to walk back his statements later on.
Yo, real quick. At no point during yesterday's show was Charlie Kirk's death celebrated. At no point whatsoever.
Oh, well, now that you put it like that.
Charlie Kirk's death. I did call him a piece of shit. That much is true. But at no point was his death celebrated. If it was, go find me a quote, go find me something that proves that we were celebrating his death. You're not going to find it because it didn't happen. What did happen is one reporter that bought their ticket online came with the sole purpose of finding something to report, and after I called him a piece of shit and we played a song, they have written that up as a celebration. Not a celebration, isn't a celebration, wasn't a celebration.
So what is it? Is that it's a dedication? I dedicate this song and the phrase "rest in piss"?
Well, everyone is cheering. Like, come on now.
I can't.
It's just so intellectually dishonest. And I'm not losing any sleep over the people who are losing their jobs over the disgusting things they're saying about Charlie online. Bob Vylan obviously is an exception because he doesn't have a real job other than talking shit and making shitty music. But he did face consequences for this, thankfully. The follow-up show that he had scheduled in the Netherlands did get canceled by the venue, and they released a statement condemning him. They said, "We believe the statements Bob Vylan made last night clearly cross a line. We strongly reject the trivialization of political murder and the call to go look for people in the streets. While we understand that the statements were made in the context of punk and activism, and that the reporting on them is sometimes less nuanced than what actually happened," even that is drawing him too much quarter, "we nevertheless believe that these new statements go too far. They no longer fall within the boundaries of what we can offer a stage." So I'm actually surprised that they did cancel his show for the next night.
Yeah.
But that's encouraging, at least. That they're willing to at least, say this isn't okay.
I guess if we're going to use musicians as like some type of barometer for like what you want to associate with, I don't know what Coldplay's politics are, nor do I really care. I can guess what Bob Vylan's politics are, but I don't really care. The real question to me is, who is like, of these two examples of artists, which one more closely resembles a person you would actually want to associate with in the real world, devoid of their fame? Right? Do you want to be around the people that, even if they disagreed with someone, offer some sort of, tone of apologetics and sadness and hope for the world in light of awful incidents? Or do you want to be with somebody who talks about the idea of rest in piss to a guy who did nothing more than go to college campuses to cordially discuss things with people that he disagreed with? I don't think that the average everyday person who isn't terminally online and just riddled with ideology wants to associate with someone that more closely resembles Bob Vylan. But what I was saying to you before the show, I said what's become more clear to me than ever is that I don't think anymore of these uprisings as a construct of the youth, though I'm assuming that's what his audience is. Like, I don't think it's boomers at the Bob Vylan concert. I think it's boomers at the Coldplay concert. But if I'm talking about who I think these people are in the real world, they're the hippies. The one who hates you the most is the hippie with the HR job. That's what it feels like to me. And those aren't people that I want to be associating with. I don't want to be associating with the hippies that think it's okay for somebody to die for their ideas. And I don't want to associate with some 20-something who thinks that it's okay to say rest in piss to somebody.
We have a 20 from IC All. "Hey, Brett, I thought you were going to be gone for 2 weeks. I was looking forward to Mary messing up for a whole week again. LOL, good times. No offense, Mary." Wow.
There was tech issues happen all the time. It's
no one's fault.
It's no one's fault. And I was gone for like a week and a half because I was gone the Wednesday before. So yeah.
The thing is, people would like to believe something that makes them feel more comfortable, which is, okay, Chris Martin's audience in this video at Wembley represents the normies. And then this clip of Bob Vylan in this venue that holds, 200 people, that represents the fringe. And I don't know anyone like that. That's not representing how people really feel, but that's not true. And like that's the depressing thing about all of this, is that it's clarified, and it's good that it's clarified things, but it's clarified for a lot of people who maybe don't pay as much attention to the media landscape and to politics, that they are related to, friends with, coworkers with, acquaintances with people who either quietly or vocally agree with the sentiment shared by Bob Vylan, not by Chris Martin. And touching grass, getting off social media, putting your phone away doesn't really offer you an escape from that, because the divisions have gone far beyond that, just the fringes of TikTok. It's breached the containment zone into our real lives.
Yeah, it's the lady in HR. It's the guy who's like looking to give you a home loan. It's all of these people who work. It's not poor people. It's not rich people. It's normal.
Yeah.
It's not just rich elites. It's not just poor underclass people. It's just normies. Like I said, it's the boomers. It's not exclusively, but it's a boomer with a good job and a retirement. And we talk all the time. It's the old people protesting in Charlestown.
Yeah.
All the time. And
they have
it's crazy.
Jobs, lives, families, just like everyone else.
Yep.
And we are in a society with them, and we need to figure out very quickly how we will respond going forward, because it's not just a chronically online issue anymore. And it honestly never was, but this revealed that to people who needed to learn.
Chronically online isn't what radicalized them. It was MSNBC telling you that, the right is an existential threat to America.
People, that's true.
And that's on the politicians for using that rhetoric, and then the media for parroting that rhetoric and holding to it. And I'm very, very shocked every day, more and more, how much people have grown comfortable with the idea that what you say should earn you some form of physical violence when it comes to politics. So.
Well, related to that,
he was the moderate in almost every respect. He wanted to talk to people he disagreed with. You listen to, I could never have that level of patience with people. Like I can't. Like I don't have it. Like the ability to have a reasoned discussion with people who see the world completely different than you, knowing all you know, you have to have not just an immense level of intellect, but an immense level of grace and patience to be able to reach across the aisle and speak with those people calmly, cool. That's the whole point, right? Is a lot of times, like what I found, and this happens on both, to anyone in a debate. If you don't know enough about what you're talking about, that's when you go to ad hominem. That's when you go to attacks, right? When you're not comfortable enough in everything that you're sharing. At least that's what it seems like to me. Like if you don't feel strongly in your position, that's when you start to lose your cool. He was not somebody who lost his cool. He was somebody that spoke calmly, spoke with grace, and spoke kindly to people he saw that he thinks, or that saw the world completely different than him. And
yeah, and we have another 20 here. No Control said, welcome back, Brett. I hope the recent news didn't disrupt your honeymoon. I wish you and your new family the best. Hi, Mary. Hi.
It made things more, it brought the real world back into a sharper sense of focus, and given where I work and what we do, it does make life a little bit more difficult. It absolutely does. It was not an easy thing to hear. It was very, very very difficult. And I'm glad that you guys here handled it as well. Like, you guys really did. Like, you handled it perfectly. There could not have been a better, more respectful way. I was telling you before the show, I was like, I don't know if I would have even done that. Like, I tend to be so tunnel vision about getting the job done that it wouldn't have occurred to me till after that the decorum needed to be what it was, and you handled it perfectly.
Thank you. Yep. Evidently, as you were saying, Charlie had a huge heart for people who disagreed with him, and perhaps overestimated how ignorant they are at times in their favor. He was being charitable to them to assume that they just were lacking information. Because a lot of people that have revealed themselves to be just absolute monsters in recent days, they are not ignorant to the facts. They have revealed that they know who Charlie Kirk was, and they know exactly what he stood for and the ideas that he shared, and they just believe that violence is the response to that. They just, it's not that they're lacking information. It's not that they're not well-adjusted people. They're not basement dwellers. They're high functioning.
Salary
average
jobs.
Intelligence, successful on all accounts, polite.
It was teachers. It was nurses. It was people who are expected to give care to people who are sick, to teach the young. Like, that should be terrifying to everyone. Absolutely.
And related to this issue, I wanted to talk about some interesting timing. This was really interesting timing. The morning before Charlie Kirk got assassinated, it was reported that RFK Jr. was being questioned about gun violence in America and the public health crisis among children, how those things are related, and the studies that the NIH plans to initiate related to gun violence in schools. And this was just hours before the assassination that this was reported. And it says RFK cites video games as a possible cause of real-world gun violence in response to a question from PBS. Thank you. Thank you, guys. Always the tone.
Always the tone.
That was definitely true on Thursday and Friday last week.
I bet.
We're still celebrating Brett's wedding, though.
That's what we're doing.
Yes. So he said the firearms question is a complex question. It's not an easy question. He called out a variety of factors that could contribute to an uptick in real-world violence, and he specifically cited a sudden onset of violence in schools starting in the 1990s going forward. He mentioned a dependence on psychiatric drugs, and also mentioned video games and social media. And he said, we're initiating studies now to look at the correlation and connection between over-medicating our kids and this violence. However, he did not elaborate about his mentions of video games and social media. Yeah. But Vera Dark actually responded to that headline. Again, this tweet that she put out minutes before the Charlie Kirk news broke. She said the politicians are back at blaming video games again. Just another day that ends with Y.
Yeah.
And this was then followed up with an interview on Fox News with a former FBI agent named Mary Ellen O'Toole. And she was a senior profiler at the FBI, has studied criminal psychology.
Ooh, so she's like the lady from Criminal Minds.
She's like the savant, actually.
So she's like Reed.
Exactly. And she also mentioned video games as a possible cause for the violence that took place at UVU. Let's just listen to that clip.
And of the 19 cases that we looked at, including Columbine, they were online with video games 7 to 8 hours a day. 7 to 8 hours a day, and that was nearly 25 years ago. So when we look at it today, then the question becomes the quality of these games, very different, and the time spent online, very different, but it can desensitize to the point where that person involved in these games looks at other people, at least the characters in the game, and they're not even human beings. They're simply...
Okay, that's a huge leap from the character in the game to human beings. Like that, like you just breezed by like a ridiculous leap.
Right.
Avatars, they're just characters, and that desensitization process can carry over then to making just terrible decisions and making decisions that can really change the rest of your life. And
okay,
that was, you're right, she mid-sentence said they look at these people, or at least the characters in the games, and they just see characters. So are you claiming that they see the characters in the games as avatars, or that they see real people as
Correct.
avatars? That's a huge leap, and perhaps she was just misspeaking, and I don't know what she really meant there. But this is so not the conversation that needs to be happening right now.
I do want to point out that she mentioned she invoked Columbine.
She did.
That there was like, okay, so Eric Harris and Dylan Klebold both had very, very distinct psych profiles. I think if I remember correctly, like Eric Harris he had the anger issues, the conduct issues. He had an evaluation after he stole a van or something like that. And that his journal was like they had journals.
Yeah.
They both had journals, right? And revealed homicidal fantasies and a hatred of humanity and a desire to exert power and destruction. Whereas Dylan Klebold had suicidal ideation.
He was depressed and
also and
like more of a follower than a leader.
That like those are vastly different things. Also, I think that they're underselling medication, and I believe
RFK
this about the
was, like, to be fair to him, not saying like it's video games. He was primarily talking about the medications.
Yes. So do you want to blame the video games? I would say you got about 10,000 other things you have to get to before you put on that. What is their home life like? And as I was saying to you before the show off air, like I think that people underestimate just how medicated the general population is now. And I know that because I was once that person. In many, many respects, we're talking about, like, if we're talking about somebody that is that angry with the world and is sharing every single thought on social media with low impulse control and no ability to stop themselves, we're talking about SSRIs, we're talking about Xanax, we're talking about Adderall. They need the Adderall to be able to focus, and they need the Xanax to be able to calm down. They need the trazodone. They need all these things, right? And no, those aren't the only culprits in all of this. Obviously, we have to have the discussion again about what is going on at universities and just how extreme people get based on what they're being taught, what they're being told. I did see that story that was in the New York Post about the teacher that showed what happened to Charlie Kirk to a class of 10 and 11-year-olds. And said that he deserved it. That allegedly, she said that he deserved it. Again, that was in the New York Post. All of this combined, the video games are very, 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 very far down that list. We talk all the time about how social media desensitizes people and how you don't look at a human being as a human being anymore. You simply see them as an avatar of ideas. But that is very different than a character in a video game where the purpose is to go and commit violent acts. That's not the same thing as an avatar telling you what their political ideas are and your ideas being vastly different because you were radicalized at your university. Those aren't the same things. It's just not.
Well, that's all to say nothing of the shooter himself, and there are so many contradictory...
Are we going to start blaming heavy metal again? Are we going to start blaming the death metal? Is it Marilyn Manson's fault?
There are just countless contradictory narratives that are spreading about the shooter right now. People saying he's right-wing, people saying he's left-wing, people saying it's all because of video games, because the casings were referencing Helldivers 2. Some people saying that he was trans, some people saying that he was gay, some people saying that he was homophobic. Like, there are so many contradictory narratives. What I'm more interested in talking about is the psychological profile of the normal average person who is either taking to social media or their real life relationships to celebrate, excuse, or downplay what just happened, because we really need to be worried about those people that we actually know before we have all the information about the person that actually fired the gun. And of course, people are also blaming guns. That's another part of this. And since you mentioned Columbine, and she mentioned Columbine in that clip, let's draw a parallel between the moms here. Sue Klebold, the mother of Dylan Klebold, actually ended up sort of self-styling as an activist after Columbine, years after. She did a TED Talk, she wrote a book, and she was asked to address the influence of video games over her son. And she actually said that people use things like video games to downplay the importance of mental health. Now, I wouldn't say mental health is
Wait, what does she mean by that?
She's saying it's more of video games sort of became a scapegoat for us to avoid conversations about mental health. And I do agree with that. I think she placed a little too much emphasis on the aspect of mental health, because it is comforting to her to think that, well, okay, my son wasn't culpable because he was mentally ill. But then there were people posting screenshots from the Facebook account of Tyler Robinson's mother, and there was a photo of him as a child with his whole like gaming setup, and she captioned it something about how he's spending hours playing these video games instead of like spending time with the family. And again, fueling that discussion about video games, which is a scapegoat or distraction at the very least. And I know maybe you wouldn't see it this way, but from my standpoint, I think what is really not being talked about enough is this spiritual rot in this country, the lack of community around shared values, which of course is synonymous with a church community.
Was Tyler Robinson's I know that they were a conservative family and his father was in law enforcement, right? Was his family religious?
I don't know, and I feel like even if I looked into it, I would find like 10 different opinions on what that even means. But you know, I'm just talking about my interpretation of the responses, not even Tyler Robinson as an individual. When we're talking about the responses that this is getting, the horrific stuff that we're seeing, not just online but in real life, it's a deeper spiritual problem, and I genuinely think that it's demonic. I'm not saying that in a metaphorical way, and that's the thing that I think people need to talk more about, not video games. Like, that's so far down the priority list.
Yeah, there's a 20 there from Not That Jon Stewart.
Not That Jon Stewart? I'm not seeing that. As someone who had played tens of thousands, maybe even hundreds of hours of video games in the 43 years of my life, the number of people I have ever unalived or even thought of doing it to is 0. Yeah, and I think for reasons entirely unrelated to real world violence, we could have a discussion about the effect of, you know, violent media. We could talk about how that maybe vulgarizes us as a society, but that would be a totally separate discussion from the question of whether it actually encourages people to commit violent acts.
That comes up all the time when people talk about, look, people in the chat will sit here and tell me that the video games aren't causing the violence, sure, or that blaming it on Marilyn Manson is ridiculous, but people blame it on rap music all the time.
Oh, yeah, and I think that's bullshit, too.
Like, there's a culture around the violent lyrics that definitely can play a part, but that's a discussion, people. I saw somebody, and thank you, I don't know who it was in the chat, I apologize, somebody brought it up. They said, what about the rap lyrics?
That's what people scapegoat so they can avoid talking about the racial element of violent crime, like gang crime. Yeah, it's again, just a distraction from the issue at hand. And so is the gun discussion, so is like a lot of the point scoring that's taking place right now.
I can't even with most of these things. So I went skating on Sunday with a friend, and he said, look, the Charlie Kirk stuff was the most disgusting. He goes, I don't think I agreed with him on anything, but the response that I saw was one of the most disgusting things I've ever seen in my entire life. Yeah. So, and I'm glad that there are still people on the left or people who are apolitical who feel that way, because it means, you know, you've kept your conscience over this divisive time. I was shocked how many people knew who I don't know why I shouldn't have been. Like, maybe it's just because I'm in the bubble here at work, but I was shocked at how many normal people like knew who you.
I wasn't. I expected that a lot of normies knew of him. Maybe didn't watch him regularly, but he's just as well known of a household name as Ben Shapiro.
One of the things I do. This is one of my quirks. When we're watching an old television show, I will look up the like bit player actors that I don't know and be like, whatever happened to that? You know, are they still I'm always curious. Are they still acting? And I will go look at their Instagram and see if they're still around. And I was looking at this one yesterday, and this person who was I don't even remember her name. It was Raina something, and she was in like an episode of an old episode of NCIS, like season 6 or 7, and she followed Charlie Kirk. She's doesn't even act anymore from what I saw, like mostly models, and followed not just him but also the Charlie Kirk show.
Oh, okay. So that means she was like really a fan.
Yeah. I was shocked. I'm genuinely in the amount of like the baseball players who knew who he was and put his name on their hats and on his hat and stuff like that. Like it was he had an impact on the world.
And here's another thing about being desensitized to violence. Social media is a bigger player in that, I think, than video games. And Michael Knowles shared that he was having a conversation with an apolitical friend who said the most frightening thing to him about receiving the news of Charlie's assassination was seeing the video of it. And according to his friend, he felt nothing when he saw the video.
Yep.
Because we see a gruesome murder on our X timeline,
every day.
Every day.
You weren't designed as a human being. You weren't designed to just watch that happen and then go to work.
And that's an actual person, not a video game character. And again, I am not discounting the conversation about how that perhaps is coarsening the culture to be exposed to violence, even if it's simulated. I do think that we're affected by the media we consume. It does affect our behavior, and it affects our view of other human beings and how we interact with each other. I'm not even totally discounting the conversation, but it's not relevant right now. It's not relevant to what just happened.
Yep.
And especially to see that on Fox News, it's just like, have you guys not changed in like 30 years?
They're
Seriously.
just as boomer as they were before. All
Insane.
right, let's move on.
According to the creator of the Hannibal TV series, his dream project is a reboot series of The Silence of the Lambs starring Mads Mikkelsen and Zendaya. And the headlines started getting spread everywhere about this comment that he gave. It was just a throwaway comment, but here's what he said. My dream project is to do a limited series of Silence of the Lambs with Mads Mikkelsen and Zendaya as Clarice Starling. If I could put anything out into the universe, I would put that into the universe, to which some people said might be a little complicated with both of them playing Clarice, but
yeah. What's funny about this is I sent this to you last Friday. I think they just want to do it to drum up attention for shows now because they know that
that Zendaya is like a
lightning rod for like, oh no, not like they're like maybe part of his job as a showrunner, as a creator, is like when he wants to pitch something, he has to drum up interest and be like, here's an idea and here's why it's viable right now. And Mads Mikkelsen did amazing as Hannibal Lecter in the series Hannibal. I love that. I mean, it's not one that I rewatch regularly because it's dark and it's avant-garde and it's a bit depressing if I'm being completely honest. But you just know that they're like, who else could, like, the only other name he could have listed was like Sydney Sweeney. Even like, I want to do Sydney Sweeney as Clarice Starling.
I mean, she's proven that she can go butch for a role.
There you go.
We have a huge super chat from Skoborsh Koilenkov.
Thank you.
Congrats, Brett. Mary would like to hear your take on the woman in Tim's Saturday video, Gen Z Boys Say No to Gender Equality. I have not seen that video. Do you know what this is?
I don't know.
Okay. I don't know. I'm sorry I can't give you the take that
what
you're
is
looking for.
What were they taught, like in what do you mean in relation to, wait, I did feel like I did see something about
Gen
this.
Z Boys Say No to Gender Equality. Is it related to
somebody have to give us a link in the
NBC polls last week?
Is that idea. Was it about that? So if somebody has a link to the video, put it in the live chat. Maybe I'll grab it and then maybe we can do it in the super chat segment at the end. But thank you for the crisis party.
Yeah, it's Zendaya is obviously overexposed. She must have like the same team as Pedro Pascal, people are joking.
Yeah.
And I was surprised to see some people who are getting really excited about the possibility of her playing Clarice.
I don't think that she's a fit for. I just don't.
Well, this is the thing. It's not coming from fans of the franchise. No. It's coming from people who want to prove a point to the people who like it.
Take that, Yincel.
Zendaya most likely isn't answering the phone, but I find it funny how all these directors want to work with her, and it sends film Twitter and racists into a spiral every time. Another response said, I love how trolls on Twitter always get so up in arms about Zendaya being cast, but the rest of Hollywood loves her talent, grace, and professionalism. Cry about it.
I will say, she does have from what I've seen, she's a very professional person.
Yes, I agree with that.
When it comes to a professional demeanor and handling herself well, I think that, I mean, unless I'm like forgetting some big incidents, she's great. In that respect, she's just overexposed. But the problem is nobody's willing, again, this is another issue. Nobody's willing to have a good faith debate back and forth about why somebody likes or doesn't like a character. Their point to the contrary would be that you're just a racist for not wanting her to be in the movie. No, I'm fully willing to admit that if we're talking about the press tour and her ability to, handle herself professionally, she's up there. I would much rather have her than Rachel Zegler.
Okay, yes, completely agree. But the thing is, nobody has a problem with her personality. No one has a problem with her political views because she doesn't share them. Nobody has a problem with her acting even. I don't think I've seen people, for the most part, even criticizing her acting.
There's a lot of people that are like, she's one note, she makes the same face all the time.
It's the
like they didn't think she was a good
face.
They're like, she's not Chani. She's like,
right. I did see some of that, but for the most part,
but that's good. You want people to criticize based on the work. Like, if your criticism is based on the work, that's good. That's why I think we live in an age of so many character actors where they know, like, Ryan Reynolds can play Ryan Reynolds in everything because he's a producer and he draws numbers. Zendaya can do the same, but people are just as critical of Ryan Reynolds for that. They're just the same. The people that are critical of Ryan Reynolds for always playing Ryan Reynolds are going to be the people that are going to tell you that you're bad for criticizing Zendaya.
I think people are just trying to point out that maybe you would disagree with this. I think it's pretty obvious that Zendaya would not be the calling card that she is today had she been a white actress this whole time. She would not have gotten the same opportunities. I just think that's pretty obvious. Yeah, I think that it gives her a certain level of favor.
Well, she came from Disney, right?
Yes.
But
so did a lot of people.
But no, I'm saying, but most people don't think of her as Disney anymore. They think of her as the Euphoria girl.
They do.
Sydney Sweeney is also the Euphoria girl.
Zendaya was also always the most famous person on that show. I'm just saying, thank you.
Finally, a not tonally inappropriate crisis party.
Exactly.
Thank you guys.
At last. You can dance without shame.
We appreciate it.
I don't think she would have gotten the same number of opportunities had she been white. And
I mean, racially ambiguous is like that's the case too.
Yeah, it's more marketable, and I'm not even like saying that to make it about race. It's just a fact of the industry. Another response said, Zendaya hate is so forced. Only she would get attacked for being the industry's darling and people wanting to work with her. The thing is that people are just pointing out they want to work with her because she's overexposed and because that perception of scarcity makes her more in demand, not because it has anything to do with her talent.
It's the same thing with Pedro Pascal. There was like, what was the other movie that he was supposed to be in that was also supposed to come out at the same time as Eddington, at the same time as Fantastic Four, at The Materialist? Like, he had another movie that he couldn't do because he was just like, he's like, bro, I'm booked.
His phone is like blowing up.
He doesn't even have a phone anymore. If like you want to find him, you need to send up like a unique smoke signal.
Well, here's another thing. I don't think it's viable to make a limited series about Silence of the Lambs or rebooting it in 2025 for a lot of reasons. I mean, for the past 5 to 7 years, you couldn't do that because of the character of Buffalo Bill. And that,
I think they'll do it anyways.
I think that is too fragile of a subject for Hollywood to draw upon it. they don't want to cast any sort of negative light over the idea of a man cross-dressing or identifying as a woman. And
then they'll keep it to just about Hannibal and Clarice.
It's a Silence of the Lambs limited series. So, and then even now, as public sentiment is changing on that issue specifically, and as the election last year was sort of public mandate on it, really, in a lot of ways, they can't make it now because of the affiliation between men who are transitioning to women and their propensity towards violence.
Yeah.
You can't touch that. So I don't even see it happening for that reason alone.
There's a lot of things that just they'll be left in the past. Like I said, they would have to write around it.
Exactly. Or they would just change the freaking story entirely.
And then people will get mad.
They'd recreate it entirely because it's just not viable for them. They cannot write that story. So I don't think it's going to happen.
And it's a waste of Mads Mikkelsen, who should be going on to more and more stuff. He did great work in Hannibal, but it was also a product of its time. And that was the last time I remember. Maybe there's something now, but that was a network television show. That was a dark show for network TV. Like now you see that stuff. I had a whole rant on X the other day, and then on I so much so that I did it on Instagram, like as a video, so I'm watching NCIS Tony and Ziva. I knew I was going to hate it before I watched it, and I was right. I dislike it severely. It takes a procedural characters and makes it like a globe-trotting spy show, and they work with a specific formula, specifically when they were younger. And there was this immense attraction between the two. Now there's all this history and time. But that's not the problem. The problem is the second they took it to streaming, they start swearing. I freaking hate it.
Annoying.
I hate it so much. Like out of nowhere, Ziva's saying the F word. And I'm like, there's no reason for it.
Yeah.
She says, and I quote, inter-fucking-pole. And I literally almost got a migraine from rolling my eyes so hard.
That's really cringy.
It's like, and here's the thing. I don't have a problem with swearing. I have a problem with characters that once never swore, now all of the sudden are cursing for no reason whatsoever. If the show starts that way, if the show starts on streaming and they all swear all the time, fine. That's what the writers decided to go with. Everybody, certainly I can't get through life without swearing, so it would be hypocritical of me to have a problem with it. My problem is that you're supposed to be immersed in what these characters used to be so that you can grow immersed in what they have now become. And all of a sudden, they're talking completely differently than they did before. And like I'm saying, what I'm saying is like Hannibal was dark for its time, even on a network show. If they did it now, the violence would be even more gratuitous. It wouldn't have the art that, like look at that show. I make these posts about boomer TV supremacy and how much better things were lit now. Or how much better things were lit back then. Now it wouldn't have any of the art. It wouldn't have any of the style. It would look bland and flat and gray. And it would
somehow
do a
they would
disservice.
Manage to spend like $200 million.
Somehow.
For like 6 episodes. Yeah, I don't think it would even be hypocritical of you to say that they shouldn't have excessive swearing in the show, even though you swear. Because there's a difference between the way that like we have real conversations and the way they should be portrayed on TV. Yeah. So that is another annoying drawback of everything being on streaming now.
I remember like Olivia telling me, she's like, I love, like we were gonna, the show Designated Survivor with Kiefer Sutherland. It was on network TV, I think, for seasons 1 and 2, and it got canceled, and Netflix picked it up. And the very first thing you see is like graphic gay sex when season 3 starts.
Just like, why?
And then everybody's saying the F word.
It's just so annoying.
Oh, there was also graphic sex. I don't want to see that. I mean, not nudity, but like they weren't.
Ugh.
They don't show the sex scenes on network TV. They just skip right past it. And this one, me and Olivia are just like fast forward, and it just went on forever.
Ew.
Yeah.
No one wants to see that shit.
Yeah, they're old.
You mean Tony and Ziva?
Yeah.
Ew, gross.
We just fast forwarded through the whole thing.
Ugh, just bones slapping together.
Just don't make the Hannibal limited series. And it's not Zendaya's fault. She's a professional. She's just a little bit overexposed. Don't tase me, bro.
Yeah, exactly. Okay.
All right.
You guys are going to be relieved that there's cute of the day today. So I think we should start with cute of the day.
Start with cute?
Yeah.
All right. I brought
Everyone
it back.
was begging for cute of the day to come back.
Told you, people want to brag. People want to brag about their pets. All right, here we go. Cute of the day. This one's from Samir. My cat Lucky enjoying some afternoon sun.
Oh, very
that's
cute.
The best. We got one of the things that we got for our wedding was a cat tower, and now they're like fighting over who gets to sit in the cat. Like I tried to put like Chloe and Mocha on the cat tower at the same time, and they immediately started hissing at each other.
It's a true test of who is the alpha.
Yep.
Who's the alpha cat? Very cute cat.
It is.
You like
and,
Lucky.
Olivia sent me a picture. So Toast likes to sit in my computer chair in the office, and it's just covered in white fur, and it took me like an hour to get rid of it all. So I put like if you've ever seen like anytime I go on other people's streams or something, I have like all my background, it's just all movie posters. So I put like one that's not hanging up on the chair. It's just sitting on the poster now.
Yeah.
Thanks,
I mean, that's
Toast.
just what it's like to have cats.
All right.
Get used to it.
Let's do it. Let's do cringe of the day. Here we go. How bad is this one?
It's pretty bad.
It's pretty bad?
It's pretty bad,
okay.
yeah.
All right, here we go.
Every single picture of her that has ever existed, putting it on my wall. And I don't care if it... I'm gonna do it just because there's other people doing it, and I want to be better than them. And also, I'm gonna print off every picture of her that exists except
Bro, we're gonna get copyrighted for the shitty Radiohead song in the background.
for the inappropriate ones, because I'm a creep with
shitty.
standards, okay? I'm not doing that stuff. Or pictures of her kissing somebody else, those make me sad.
I can't. Song is ruining it for me.
In other more productive news, I am working on a song that's pretty cool, so this is what it sounds like. I'll give you a hint of a demo I made a while back.
Guys,
Also,
if you need an explainer, he has printed out every photo of Jenna Ortega that exists and put it on his wall.
I got this thing, that's pretty cool.
I don't know why he's coughing so much.
Oh my god, it keeps going.
Yeah.
Yo guys, I'm relapsing. I'm printing out every single picture of her that has ever existed, putting it on my wall.
Oh my god.
Yeah, that's a real thing. I know you can do it for a bit, right? But he still did it.
Yeah.
Like, I know it's a bit, but
he took the time to do it.
He took the time to print out every photo of Jenna Ortega
People are saying
in existence.
People are saying L take Brett. No, okay, so let me explain. I don't hate Radiohead. It's just that if you grew up skating in the late 90s and the early 2000s, it was like a law that every skate video had to have at least one Radiohead song. It was like Atmosphere.
But they're too sad.
It was like Atmosphere. It's like, look at me. I'm not mainstream. I listen to underground rap.
How is Radiohead
No,
underground?
Atmosphere was like underground, you know, like Midwest rap. And I'm like, ugh. Somebody just...
It's too melancholic.
Not my favorite.
Yeah.
Not my favorite. All right, let's get started.
We have a lot to get into from the 2025 Emmys. A lot of looks from the red carpet that I want to go over first before we cringe at all of the political virtue signaling and slacktivism at the event. First off, Sydney Sweeney, stunning in all red on the Emmys red carpet. Looking characteristically Sydney Sweeney. And, of course, the first response I saw to this says, likely color for her to wear.
Fascist. She's dressed like that's fascist cleavage.
They think that her wearing the color red
Is her signaling her Republicanness?
Yes, is a reference to the fact that she is a registered Republican.
Look, I saw her interacting with Coleman Domingo, you know, Euphoria days. Look, can't we? Because Coleman Domingo is just in that video.
The drag queen?
Yeah, with Coleman Domingo. Well, Coleman Domingo isn't a drag queen, right? Just an actor. Oh, well, Coleman Domingo was also in the Sabrina Carpenter video, right?
In drag.
In drag. Can't we all just get along? That's a good thing.
That's actually proving that Sydney Sweeney is the archetypal socially liberal, fiscally conservative Republican.
It's like, look, I just want to keep my money. Can I just keep my money?
And here's another look from Jenna Ortega wearing a bodice entirely of stringed jewels by Givenchy on the red carpet. Netflix said no one slays like Jenna Ortega, and she's still sporting those bleached eyebrows that everyone hates.
Yeah.
And I think she's just going to double down on it until we like it.
Yeah. I mean,
it's just not...
I feel like she was actually trying to put on like several different necklaces all at once and just decided to leave it on as a shirt.
That was also in line with the naked dressing trend that we talked about.
Yeah,
last
I sent
week.
you that. I was like, of course it's a trend called naked dressing.
Displayed by Margot Robbie and Dakota Johnson and Bella Hadid and countless others.
What was your take on the Margot Robbie one? I didn't listen to it. What was
I mean, it's no different than any of the others. I think it's just trashy and a desperate bid for attention that doesn't even work because we're obviously bombarded with nudity at all times. So why would we be surprised? And here's another clip of Selena Gomez on the Emmys red carpet with her fiance Benny Blanco. And the caption says, "He's so effing useless. The way he can't even grab her by the waist and she's the one who has to grab him." The way this is being dissected, their relationship specifically, really disturbs me.
It's kind of weird how, like, for any of the female pop stars, any relationship is just going to lead to a bunch of people being mad. Not because they want to be with you, but because they want to hate the guy.
Well, I mean, Benny Blanco, to be fair, is very hateable. He has a very hateable face, very hateable personality.
If he did grab her waist, they'd find something else to complain about.
Of course, of course. There are a lot of people who think that Selena is really only with him because he worships the ground that she walks on, which I find easy to believe, actually. There were, of course, some drag queens invited to the event, and I don't think this really counts as drag, per se. One of them was Corey King, dressed up as Michael Jackson. There was another drag queen dressed up in this elaborate Labubu cosplay.
Yeah, I saw the Labubu
that's
one.
kind of, I don't know how I feel about that. Is that like offensive to Chinese people?
The amount of Labubus,
little
that we
takeout
saw,
box purse?
The amount of Labubu stuff that we saw while we were on our honeymoon was just out of pocket.
What?
Like at malls and stuff like that, they're
It's
like,
out of control. It's got to stop.
Out of control.
They're so ugly. Then we have Miss Piggy. I mean, I just don't understand why they still invite drag queens to these events. Because drag isn't cool anymore. It's definitively corporatized. And they're not famous. So why are these people even around?
Yeah.
And clearly, I think that all these award shows, but the Emmys especially, is just feigning irrelevancy. Another fashion moment that people took note was Meg Stalter on the red carpet with her Chanel purse that says ceasefire.
Can you tell me who she is?
Yeah, we, I think, talked about her not too long ago
She's
because she's not a singer. She's an actress that's starring in Lena Dunham's new show.
That tracks.
Yeah, she's
Okay.
basically Lena Dunham's Gen Z self-insert actress.
The heir apparent.
Right, exactly. But she's not as ugly. Kyle Dixon sent us a 20. Congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Dasovic.
Thank you so much. And
Okay.
thank you from Olivia as well.
But here is a response to this ceasefire purse and the way she's posing with it, thinking that she ate. I really dislike when people do this.
She definitely
ate. I really dislike when people do this free Palestine but make it cunty bit. Are you dumb? People are dying, but thank God you're pouting your lips and slaying with that keffiyeh.
That's what I said about the we'll get into it. Like, we'll talk about it. I've got more of it.
It's a good point because you're only carrying that around for attention because nobody knows who you are. You're a total nobody that somehow secured an invitation to this because you're in a Lena Dunham show. And the attention you're getting is entirely because of some stupid political statement that you put on your clothes. And she didn't even bother to wear a real outfit. She's wearing jeans and a t-shirt.
Look, we need to bring back hipster activism. Like, they need to start being, like I said, say what you want about Macklemore, but he finds like the conflicts that you're not talking about.
Well,
it's not
also,
just he does talk about Palestine.
Say what you will about Lady Gaga's meat dress.
Yes. I love it when they talk about animals and when they talk about not the climate, but like the rainforest.
Yes.
Like, I love that. Like, it harkens back to a time where, at the very least, the activism probably
Anti-fur.
mattered more to them. It probably actually mattered because there wasn't actually a lot of social capital in it.
Right. They're like, stop killing the rabbits.
Like, when I see like old things of celebrities who like really, really care about a cause, and it's like the ozone layer.
The anti-fur campaigns from PETA in the 2000s were peak hipster activism.
Yeah.
And, you know, we got to bring that back because the rest of it is just mind-numbing, repetitive garbage. And it doesn't even take the issue that they are speaking to seriously for what it is. This speech from Hannah Einbinder in her acceptance speech at the Emmys is just like so exemplary of what slacktivism in Hollywood looks like.
Oh, and if you're wondering what those numbers are in the corner, we're going to talk about that tomorrow. That's the charity counter. We're going to talk about the charity counter tomorrow, guys. Don't you worry. But let's listen to what Hannah says.
Right.
Finally, I'll pay the difference. Sorry. Finally, I just want to say, finally, go Birds, and free Palestine.
They cut the feed there because she said go Birds, F ICE, and free Palestine. So you're shouting out your sports team and then saying F ICE and free Palestine. You clearly don't even take your activism issue seriously. If you think that it belongs in the same sentence as your favorite sports team. That's what they view politics as. They view starving children in Gaza as a team sport.
Yep.
That's disgusting. Like, I'm not even saying that as like some sort of bleeding heart lib or an activist myself. I'm just saying, if you're going to advocate for those people, at least offer them the respect to not treat them like a sports team mascot.
What did I say
That's so gross.
What did I say last night?
So sleazy and crass.
I said lol to squeezing in your favorite sports team right next to the foreign wars and immigration virtue signaling.
Yeah.
Like,
so
we
weird.
are an unserious country, and Hollywood is filled with unserious people, ladies and gentlemen. Unserious!
So then she was asked about the meaning of that statement in a later interview on the red carpet. Here was her explanation.
When you were up on stage, you talked about Palestine, and I know you signed a pledge too. Can you talk about that, please?
Yeah. So, well, I thought it was important to talk about Palestine because it's an issue that's very dear to my heart. I have friends in Gaza who are working as frontline workers, as doctors right now in the north of Gaza to provide care for pregnant women and for school children to create schools in the refugee camps. And it's an issue that's really close to my heart.
She's like drunk.
For many reasons. I feel like it is my obligation as a Jewish person to distinguish Jews from the state of Israel because our religion and our culture is such an important and long-standing, basically like...
Is she drunk? I feel like she's drunk.
That is really separate to this sort of ethno-nationalist state. And in terms of the pledge, it's like many movements, boycotting is an effective tool to create pressure on the powers that be to meet the moment, you know.
Meet the moment.
The Film Workers for Palestine boycott does not boycott individuals. It only boycotts institutions that are directly complicit in the genocide. So, yeah, it's important to me, and I think it's an important measure, and so I was happy to be a part of it.
Okay.
Yeah, that's referencing a pledge or open letter that was signed by a lot of actors and actresses. It was reported on last week.
Before we do that, I did see that Homeland Security fired back. It says,
can we not do this?
Trisha McLaughlin tells TMZ how ugly such a demonization is inspiring violence are ICE law enforcement who are facing 1,000% increase in assaults against it. So they're like, the federal government's always now like very happy to get involved in these stories.
Can the DHS not be Wendy's on Twitter for like 2 seconds? Just do your thing and like no one knows who this chick is. Just stop. Yeah. Just I can't with the clapback culture that is even being displayed by our own government. Javier Bardem also threw his hat in the ring with a keffiyeh on the red carpet. Yeah. And he's throwing up the most half-hearted resist fist.
I said that to you before the show. I said it's like it's so dilapidated.
It's like you're not even trying.
It's not even up very high.
He's like, yep, I'm doing the thing that you want me to do? And then in this later interview with our favorite journalist from Variety.
Everybody loves this guy, including us.
Here he said why he was wearing the keffiyeh.
They denouncing the genocide in Gaza. I'm talking about the IAGS, which is the International Association of Genocide Scholars, who study thoroughly genocide and has declared it is a genocide. And that's why we ask for a commercial and diplomatic blockade and also sanctions on Israel to stop the genocide, free Palestine. Here I am today.
And it's like, you know, irrelevant what he could be making a speech about or making a statement about. People are just fatigued with the political speeches at award shows in general, to say nothing of the issue at hand. And they didn't take Ricky Gervais's advice in 2020. It's been 5 years since that happened. Too long. And they forgot. He said at the Golden Globes in his monologue, don't make this a platform to make a political speech. You're in no position to lecture the public about anything. You spent less time in school than Greta Thunberg. If you win, come up, accept your little award, thank your agent and your God, and F off.
He's actually wrong about that. A lot of these actors go to elite schools. Like that was one of those things I always found hilarious, because when I was young, I just assumed that all actors were idiots who...
It depends. A lot of them are just given honorary degrees.
No, a lot of them go to, at the very least, they get a 4-year degree and then go to what is like the Royal Academy for Drama, or they go to any of these big drama schools, but they go to, you know, to the big colleges. I'm not saying they're going to MIT or to Caltech. They're not studying the sciences, but they went to college. Most of them
I'm pretty
did.
sure Natalie Portman, for instance, was given an honorary doctorate from Harvard or something and did a commencement speech for them.
Hilarious.
Taylor Swift was also given an honorary doctorate, I believe, or maybe it was an honorary bachelor's from NYU. So
I just
depends.
I find it interesting because they're always like, they're very focused, and there is a point of contention here, which is like with everything that's going on here, they're focused on something that has nothing to do with the US. And one of the things that I think is true is, like, for as long as humanity has existed, war has been going on somewhere, right? And now because of the internet, you're expected to care about something that's going on halfway around the world.
Well, I mean, I wouldn't say it has nothing to do with the U.S. Of course, it's related to
but I'm saying, but they're not talking about that. They weren't even, they're not to what they're talking about.
Yeah.
They're not bringing up. They weren't saying the U.S. should sever their relationship with Israel. There
was no solution offered. It's just like, we feel bad about the bad things that are happening because we're good.
Yeah. Somebody said to me
I'm
the other
good.
day,
And that means I'm against things that are bad.
when I was, I can tell this story. When we were on our honeymoon, we were in a Tim Hortons. I don't know if Olivia tweeted about this, but we were in a Tim Hortons, and this was on 9/11. And a gentleman came into the Tim Hortons and said, I kid you not, he said, "Happy 9/11." And he said it loud, and he kept repeating the phrase. And then he set a backpack down. And Olivia's like, yeah, no.
Well, he left.
The guy left and then came back in. And he was like passing out flyers, and he was saying, he said, "Happy 9/11." And he goes, "Yet people in Gaza die every day." And I was just thinking, I'm just like, look, the people here, they're like normal people on vacation, and they don't live there, but they did live in the U.S. I guess not really, because we were on the Canada side, but they lived close to the U.S. And that's, because where we were is close to New York. That's not like when something happens halfway around the world that has no connection to you, the internet now believes that you should care as much about that as you should about the things that are happening in your own backyard. But that's not how the real world actually works. There's an order of importance in how things happen to you. Your family and friends, and then your community, then your state, then your country, then the rest of the world. Now, geopolitics means that it's all interconnected to some extent, but people aren't going to care as deeply about something that didn't happen to them or correlate to them directly at some level of magnitude.
Well, I think it
doesn't make them bad people.
Clear based on the way they're presenting the issue that their hearts are not even in it.
Yeah.
Like, it would be one thing if any of us genuinely believed that they cared about this issue. But instead, what they're doing is like, I'm pouting my lips and posing with my little ceasefire purse, or I'm shouting out my sports team and Gaza in the same breath. You're not exactly convincing the public that any of this matters to you. You're very blatantly using it to brand yourself as a quote-unquote good person trademark. And of course, it's the mostly nobody actors hitting this issue the hardest for a reason. So, yeah. We'll get to the charity aspect of it
tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow, but it was pretty funny. Tyler Fowler said, Bread has returned. How was your honeymoon to the Gongo?
The Gongo looks suspiciously like Niagara Falls. It's weird how they must have rebuilt very quickly.
Yeah, the remodeling was
I'll tell
success.
You what, I loved it. I loved Niagara Falls so much. It was all touristy and kitschy, and I was here for it.
Did you wear the coats?
No. But the thing, no driving around. That's the best thing about being there is like you're right there in the area. And you don't have to drive to get anywhere, so you're just there. And so it was like during the week. So it's a school year. It's kids are in school, so there was nobody going out. I mean, it was still busy, but just not as busy as like we could tell. Like we left a day early on Friday, and it was already starting to like fill up with people who were clearly probably took off work on Friday and came down early, and we're like, no, we'll get out of here. So I think maybe next year we'll go back or find something suitably touristy to go and do. I never see all the traveling I did growing up. We didn't like travel a lot. We went on vacation. We had a relative that had a cabin. That's what we did for vacation in Minnesota. But we did like one vacation one time to like North Carolina. But I didn't go to tourist places. And all the traveling I did as an adult was for skating. So I wasn't there for, touristy reasons. So I was excited to go do touristy stuff.
That's always fun.
Yeah.
Greg Duvier said, Brett, I hope you and Olivia were able to have a fun honeymoon, even with the terrible news. Glad you're back, so we can get Cute of the Day back.
Cute of the Day is back.
You got what you wanted, guys. Yep. Shane H. Wilder said, Brett, over here, Mary, you're only fun when drunk.
I did not say that.
Yeah, that was the implication, though.
That was not the implication.
I thought that you were drunk because you're incapable of having fun normally, Mary.
No, you were... I just assume that I don't like to dance. So I assume that anybody that likes to dance only does it when they're drunk. Must be inebriated.
Yeah, I was totally sober on the dance flow.
She was having the time of her life, ladies and gentlemen. Our wedding was that good that she was having the time of her life.
I forget who said this first, but I was like, it was just resounding in my mind, like the people who say, I just love. You know what I mean?
That's me.
Yeah.
That's me. I'm going to change my Twitter name to Wife Guy.
The Manic Mustache said, I'm just here to congratulate Mr. Brett on his recent nuptials, but apropos to imposter Bretts, I like this Brett the best. His like of Glenn Powell had a good personality. Stay toxic, my friends. If Glenn Powell had a good personality.
Oh, come on. Why? Because he said something about guys being vulnerable? Guy can't screw up once? Was it? What was that interview from? Was it for like Men's Health?
It was for GQ.
It's always for like GQ or Men's Health. He's just playing the game.
I think they cherry picked him, to be honest.
That's just his Free Palestine.
He was talking about wanting to play characters that are assholes who like realize that they were wrong or something, like it's vulnerable to play those characters.
Glenn Powell is awesome.
Alvin McGoth said, I went to church for the first time in over 10 years and it was a Russian Orthodox, very beautiful singing in both Russian and English. We're glad to hear it.
Let's do a
good to hear. A lot of people yesterday.
Let's do one more.
Shane H. Wilder said, I'm hoping all his shows get canceled and he has to learn to say, would you like chips with that? Actually, no. We must make him call them fries.
Yeah, he'd hate that.
Chips in the bag, mate.
I want to do something where I was like, what was that? Do you ever have those thoughts where like you don't think them through entirely, but it's literally like where I'm the person like giving the rant and then the person and then you find out that I'm the one working, not the guy ranting to the person working. So then they're like, could you just put the chips in the bag, bro? Like, it's always like, like, sir, this is a Wendy's.
Right.
I want the person to be like, Like, I want to be the guy who's working at the Wendy's, who's doing the ranting.
Wait, I thought fries in the bag was that your...
That's the other one, but I'm saying the meme is all... There's two memes. There's like,
Sir, this is a Wendy's is the customer crash out.
Yes.
Fries in the bag is the employee crash out.
Exactly, yeah. I want it to be where I'm the... It's like, sir... I want the customer to be like, sir, this is a Wendy's.
Right, exactly. We need to turn the tables there.
All right, let's move on.
Lily Collins recently stepped out for an event at New York Fashion Week wearing a little two-piece ensemble, but that was not the focus of these photos. She stepped out of this car and was posing for the paparazzi, and what everyone noticed is her emaciated-looking physique underneath the clothes, and they are worried that maybe she took a little too much Ozempic. There is perhaps... she's sick. We don't know what's going on here.
Because
she seems to think that she looks amazing.
The rib cage showing, or like that much of the rib cage showing.
In these photos, I mean, her skin is folding over here. You can see barely any body fat in her midsection there. Her skin is just like barely covering the sinews of her bones and muscles. And people have noticed that she is toned. But not to a degree that most people would think is healthy. And they're saying she has these defined abs, but also what we're also seeing is the lines just of her skin folding over her muscles.
Her arms have a decent amount of definition as well. Like how she's holding I guess it could be because the arms are back, but it does look like there's a decent amount of definition to her arms. So what do you think? Do you think this is Ozempic?
Well, let's watch the video first as well, because I think it shows a better view of what she looks like in motion, which is even worse.
Okay. Mute.
Okay, so we see her moving around and posing. She thinks that she looks incredible.
Why is she so tan in this one? And was this just saturation from the camera?
Maybe, yeah. Like, she looks like she's having a great time, smiling for everyone. She thinks she looks incredible. The internet disagrees.
I mean, she's not like Eugenia Cooney.
No, but are we going to use that as the benchmark for like what we think is the cutoff point, you know, for what's unhealthy? And here were some of the takes, and I agree with this one. Lily Collins is someone who has spoken very publicly about having recovered from anorexia, and I don't think she should be doing that. That's the biggest thing about this situation that stood out to me. Lily Collins has spoken as an advocate about disordered eating. Like, I'm the success story of like someone who recovered from an eating disorder. I'm telling my story. I'm sharing this so people don't feel alone. I'm healthy now. Look at me. I'm healthy now. But obviously, she's not prepared to actually answer for that later on.
Wouldn't her face be more emaciated if this was the problem? Like, her face is full.
I mean, I would say it depends on the person, obviously, but there are times when she has not looked like this in the public eye, having been, supposedly recovered from an eating disorder. And not only that, she also starred in a movie where she played an anorexic teenager. It's called To the Bone. It was like super popular on Tumblr at the time.
Yeah.
I don't remember when that came out. It was sometime in the 2010s that came out.
I remember that.
And that was like a huge thing in the press tour where she could speak to the experience of the protagonist written in the movie. And it's supposed to be this pro-recovery film where it has the happy ending where she does actually seek help and she wants to recover. And I don't think that you should make someone into a mouthpiece for this group of people, for this issue, if they're not really prepared to represent what they claim to represent. Like, I think that's a mistake to make someone in recovery a representative for recovery from anything, really, from alcohol, drugs, eating disorders. You could go down the list. I don't think it's a good idea to fashion yourself as a representative for some kind of community based on that experience that you've had.
I guess maybe I'm the bad guy here. She just doesn't look like the pictures look like they were photoshopped. She just looks normal to me. Like, she's skinny. She's very skinny, but she doesn't look unhealthy to me. Like I feel like maybe people have different benchmarks. Like I feel like it's the face and then the arms that are the first things that I notice when somebody's extremely skinny. Like their cheeks get more sunken, the arms have no musculature, there's no tone there. You know, somebody who's whether it's because she's whatever, like you said, she's got a history of or she just has fast metabolism and watches what she eats. Like she looks skinny. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying she doesn't look unbelievably unhealthy to me here.
I don't know. I mean, if we would say that
her legs don't like she's got like size.
If
to
we
her
would
legs.
say that Ariana Grande looks sick.
I mean, to me,
is that different to
Ariana
you?
Grande's arms are like this big.
Because her genetics are different, right? Ariana Grande genetically might just look different at the same exact weight.
The height matters too.
But that doesn't mean one is sicker than the other, right? Another response said, "I'm tired of seeing these emaciated people and acting like it's normal and not alarming. It's not normal, actually." Another one said, "It's like 90s heroin chic is back, but with extra protein." Yeah, I think that there's like sort of a new look to it. And it looks like she went a little too hard with the Ozempic.
Her arms, to me, Ariana Grande's arms are much skinnier to me and
I
lack
see that
definition.
difference,
like
for
maybe,
sure.
Maybe that's just a matter of like where somebody looks when they look for like those signs. Like think about when you see Eugenia Cooney, her arms are like they're like that big. Before you look at anything else, you notice the arms and the face.
Well, also worth a mention here is that Lily Collins welcomed a baby into her family. I believe
I saw
just earlier this year.
I saw your tweet about this.
And she did not gestate that baby. They hired a surrogate. They rented out another woman's womb to gestate her child on her behalf so that she could preserve her figure. And I'm not saying that was her explanation for it, but it's pretty clear that that's why that happened. You know, because you think you're above pregnancy. You think that, you know, that's something that the lower class should do for you because it's the dirty work of having a family. You're above that. You're an elite. You get to look however you want. Your body is yours. Your autonomy comes as your top priority. Doesn't matter if it comes at the cost of a child and inflicting deep primal trauma on an infant, the most vulnerable person in society. And a lot of people pointed that out, and I'm glad they did. She exploited the body of another woman to get a kid so she could stay disgustingly skinny. That's mental illness, folks, and it's just evil. It's both. It's both of those things. And I'm not saying that she looks like she's on death's door or anything. I'm just saying it doesn't look healthy to me.
Okay. I mean, maybe we just have again, the photo just looks vastly different than the video here, but what I see here doesn't look like, if I saw this, I wouldn't clock it as, when I see Ariana Grande, the number one thing also I just in that picture was like, it's like you can see like her chest cavity here.
Right, but that's also partly genetics, right? How visible that would be.
How tall is Ariana Grande? She's like 4'10" or something.
She's short. I think she's like 5'1" or something.
Yeah, see, there's like that's what I was talking about. It's like this signals it to me.
Yeah.
The arms signal it to me.
But the difference being, even when Ariana Grande was at a higher weight, she also had more visible bones in her chest. So that is partly genetics as well.
Yeah. I don't know. So how?
I'm just saying, don't make someone into a spokesperson for recovery from anything when they're not prepared to be consistent.
Well, I mean, that's assuming that there is something wrong here, right? Like if we're to assume that there's something wrong. Yeah, and that's a hard thing too for people. When you overcome something, you tend to get more vocal about, you know, what you've experienced and what you've been through. But like that's the difference. Like I would never go out and be I don't think I would ever want to be like a spokesperson for people with addiction or people who have overcome addiction, because in my opinion that comes with a lot of responsibility. Like it does. It comes with a lot of responsibility. Now that people that have been through it still understand that people are fallible and people make mistakes and people, you know, slip. But it's a huge, and I don't know if necessarily all of them take it as seriously as they might claim that they do.
Yeah.
Right. That it's like, especially in their circle where it's fashionable to, you know, to champion a cause. of some sort. But to if you're going to champion something, some sort of recovery or some sort of illness, you better be ready for all of the scrutiny that comes with it. That's why I would never, like, I'll speak about my experiences and what I've been through, but I've never wanted to be like an advocate for it.
You know, star in a movie about it.
Yeah,
that's a whole other can of worms. Okay, let's read some super chats. Drac said, congrats on the wedding bread. You guys looked absolutely amazing. When should we be expecting a mini bread loaf? A mini bread loaf? Is this going to catch on? I really hope not. I don't like that metaphor.
I don't like that. Especially given the implications of the term bun in the oven.
Yeah. Yeah.
No
no
comment.
Since you guys were talking about cringy Pinterest quotes, like, then if you do the pregnancy announcement, you have to pick like the cringiest Pinterest quote for that. Like,
yeah, that was
the matching T-shirts and stuff like that. You've seen those, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
worst
was the
of
thing.
the worst.
Olivia told a story at the wedding of a cheesy Pinterest quote.
Was it like, he stole my heart, so I plotted revenge and took his last name?
Yeah, and we were just like, I literally have a photo of her doubled up with laughter when we read that.
That's a good one.
And she plotted her revenge, and she got her revenge.
Yeah,
it's a diabolical plan.
FN said, welcome back, Brett. I do think it's becoming harder to be friends with people who have opposing political opinions. Some quotes may be taken out of context, but some of those things he did say. Doesn't matter what he said or didn't say. It just doesn't matter at the end of the day. Even if everything they're saying about Charlie Kirk is true, which of course it's not. Even if all of it is true. Let's just go with that conditional statement. How does that relate to whether he deserved to keep his life or not? Like, how does that relate to whether his daughter deserved to have a father? It's not relevant. It's just not. And I don't like engaging with that discussion at all.
All right, let's hold off on the rest. We'll come back. Let's move on. Let's talk about Taylor.
Taylor Swift recently arrived at one of the Chiefs games, but was mysteriously behind this screen. Her assistants introduced her before the paparazzi waiting outside with this fold-out rolling screen hiding her from public view. And my first thought was, she's pregnant. There's just no other way that this is happening. Like, she's got to be hiding a pregnancy right now. And here you can see them
can I ask you a question?
rolling it out for her.
So you thought it was like to prevent a full body image of her being visible?
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, and then there's a better view of it in this other video here. Do you have that? You can see they like roll out this thing. I don't even know what it would be called. But they have like one of her assistants. Her fans like know her assistant's name is Erica, apparently.
Here it is.
Yeah. Look at how this is an AI proof job, by the way. If any of you are looking for a job, apply for this one. AI can't replace you if you're the person who professionally rolls out a screen to hide a celebrity from paparazzi.
Screen.
Yeah. And then Taylor Swift is walked over to the entrance into her suite at the game. Slowly but surely, and invisible from paparazzi with security all around. People looking nervous with clipboards and phones.
That was my favorite part. So when we were in Toronto, we were in the street at the Canadian Walk of Fame where TIFF was going on across the street. And there was these interviews being done. It was like the middle of the day, so these were celebrities that don't matter, I'm sure. And every single one of them has their publicist. You know, there's the person with the clipboard, and there's the publicist who's constantly texting someone. That's their job. They've got the lanyard.
Their job is to look stressed
and it's just like
do stuff like this.
It's tailor made.
This is giving like Doechii at the Met Gala with all the umbrellas and stuff. Remember that?
Yep.
So there they are. They like walk backwards while she's behind the screen here. And the first comment I saw, I'm not a Taylor Swift fan. However, she has freely walked in and out of Chiefs games with no problem. Now she's engaged. So why would they need to block people from seeing her? Enter or exit the game. I'll tell you, she is probably pregnant, and I agree with this theory. However, TMZ offered a different one, saying that this is a bullet-resistant portable shield to evade detection following the murder of Charlie Kirk.
Look at this. Here's a picture.
There is an example of it.
Screen Flex, Safe Flex, bullet-resistant sliding divider, freestanding room divider.
Retails for $6,000. So perhaps it's true that she upped her security following the assassination, but... And I did hear that they upped the security at the Emmys as well for the same reason, which is laughable, because how do you think that this has anything to do with you, that you're in danger because a political activist was killed? It has nothing to do with you. Well, it has a lot to do with their rhetoric and nothing to do with their physical safety, but that could be another explanation. We have no idea what Taylor Swift was wearing, but we do know what Travis was wearing.
Yes.
And he looked like an absolute clown. So I just wanted to show his outfit as he was walking in with no shield. And I just wonder, if it is a safety thing, wouldn't he be shielded as well? You know?
Well, she's worth more money than him. Though you'd think the Chiefs would want them to be.
Well, do you have the video?
Oh, sorry, I was playing it. Didn't realize it wasn't on screen. Here we go.
This is he's wearing, a suit from the bottom up, but then you look down below and he's got the short inseam shorts on, and then like loafers with no socks, but they're not supposed to be like backless mule loafers. He's has tied up laces, but no socks here, and the sunglasses to match.
I always laugh at what
why
everybody's turned it into a fashion show to when they show up to the games.
So have
the WNBA
all of the WNBA, especially.
That at least makes more sense. Nobody actually cares about the WNBA. They care about all the hoopla around the sport.
Another post says Travis Kelce's bold outfit leaves NFL fans split. LOL, Taylor Swift is dressing Travis like a little boy. She better get pregnant quick for his sake. He looks ridiculous. So people think that Taylor Swift is responsible for his cringy fashion choices? No. He's been dressing like a clown for a long time, way before he ever met her.
Yep.
He kind of just retired the whole wannabe rapper shtick and started dressing like whatever this is.
Like he goes to horse races.
He gave up the whole wigger accent as soon as he started dating a white woman, and now he dresses like this instead of wearing a Gucci tracksuit.
Yep.
But he loves the fashion. Just look at his GQ photo shoot. But what's your instinct? Do you think Taylor Swift is pregnant like I do?
I think it's the...
Is it a shotgun wedding?
I think it's the bulletproof glass because of the Charlie Kirk stuff. She's tied to politics, however tangentially.
I suppose. I don't know. Does she really think that has anything to do with her?
I mean, there was she recently was with Brittany Mahomes again, and Brittany Mahomes is very outspoken supporter of Trump. I think the timing is too spot on for it to be necessarily. Plus, with an album coming up, and do you think she's okay? Then I'll ask you this question: do you think she's gonna actually have her own kids, or is she gonna have surrogates?
I think that she will be pregnant.
Think she will?
At least once.
Okay. In that case, I don't think she's pregnant right now.
See, what they do is they stagger them.
Ah.
They get pregnant for the first one, get a surrogate for the second one, kind of mix it up, maybe simultaneously. You can have one surrogate child at the same time that you have your own.
They'll have to
they get creative
keep
with
a calendar.
But no, I actually do think Taylor Swift is a normal enough person deep down that she's not going to hire a surrogate to gestate her children or child, however many she ends up having.
Yeah.
I do think that she will have children.
Okay. Good for her.
That's part of the whole fairy tale, right?
Yeah.
She's obsessed with that. It has to be storybook. I think that she's going to have a kid, but maybe not prior to her next album and prior to the upcoming tour.
She's gonna have to figure out where she's gonna squeeze it in.
Yeah, how the hell are you going to pull that
Travis
off?
is man, I've always wanted kids. She's I can squeeze one. She's I can pencil it in for October of 2027.
So she's got this album coming out, The Life of a Showgirl. It's the 12th album of her discography. And then she's gonna tour on that album after it comes out. Then she's gonna have a kid. This is my prediction. Then she's gonna have a kid after that tour.
Okay.
She's gonna take maybe a year after having the kid. Then big moment. This is like right before retirement. She's going to put out final album, number 13. The 13th album has to be the last album because she's so obsessed with numerology. I think she wants to have 13 albums total. So I think she's going to have her first kid after this next album and tour. And then she's going to put out the last album and then pretty much disappear from the public eye after that.
I think what she should do is hire a surrogate performer so that she can have her own kids. Hire a lookalike to do the shows.
There are many Taylor Swift lookalikes.
I am on a CSI Miami kick recently because the bad lighting in every new show that I watch has pissed me off so much. I go back and watch old episodes of CSI Miami where the stories are so ludicrous and so paint by numbers. It's literally just a bunch of science jargon and then a guy's guilty. Every episode. I love it.
You're just like, yeah, check it out.
But the lighting is so incredible that I go back and watch old episodes. And I watched one the other day where a pop star is killed. And it was played by Lucy Hale.
Oh.
Okay, here's the thing. It's not the pop star that dies. It's her lookalike.
Oh.
It's who's been doing the concerts for her while she's in rehab.
Wait, what year is this?
It was like 2009.
Wow.
2008.
Things used to be so simple.
They were. So that's what I think she should do. She should hire a lookalike, and then that lookalike gets a bunch of surgery to look even more like her. And then all she has to do is learn how to do that pose she does with the microphone.
She's always doing the hand movements because she can't dance. She has like no sense of rhythm, so she dances with her hands and her face. She does like more face choreography. Like that's her strong suit, is like making a face, like looking at the crowd, like, and then going like this, pointing at the crowd. That's one of her signature
That's what
moves.
they used to make the joke about Posh Spice, about Victoria Beckham, that she'd do this because she couldn't.
And then you do the knee pop.
Yeah.
Strike a pose.
So they hire the lookalike.
It'd be easy
to do it.
Easy.
And that CSI Miami episode will come to life in the real world.
She has a doppelganger on TikTok that makes videos like cosplaying her all the time. It should be that chick. You're right, Brett.
It's time to do it.
Okay, let's finish up these super chats.
Do it.
High Voltage 75 said, video games, give me a break. Are we going to start blaming Marilyn Manson again, too? Yeah, we're on track. Greg Duvier said, all the people that celebrated Charlie Kirk's end definitely made me realize there are more demons among us than I originally thought. I agree with you. I think that there are, and I know a lot of people would say I'm crazy for saying this, but I think there are people genuinely possessed by demons, and they don't even know.
Judging by the amount of people who went to church on Sunday, I think more people are coming around to the idea of...
It's both, yeah. I mean, I think it's like refining people's actual values.
Yeah. There's a 20 here on Rumble from the Quiet Part Pod. Sorry, I missed this one. F all the people that were celebrating. Call it out when you see it. I have been encouraged by the larger normie group that said, I don't agree, but this was effed. I was just surprised by how many normies knew who he was. I really was. I don't know why. But then again, I also like my life is so sectored off. Like I don't like my Instagram. You wouldn't know even what I do for work. You really wouldn't. Like it's all skating content, and I in my Instagram for the most part is very, very, if not wholesome, at least funny. Not mine, but like my algorithm.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so
I don't like the statements that are saying, I disagreed with everything Charlie Kirk espoused, but this isn't okay. Stop qualifying it. Can you just say that murder is wrong without being performative about it? It's just, I hate that. That's lame.
I mean, I get it.
You don't need to say that you disagreed with him. We know that already. We already know that. Like, I just don't like that. That's just one last little virtue signal they can fit in there and still sound like a good person. It's messed up.
Yeah. There's a $2 here from Marcus. Says Eagles fans said her comment helped them beat the Chiefs last night. Okay, yeah, but did it end the war in Gaza?
Yeah, I don't think so. At
Call
least
me back.
maybe we haven't heard yet.
Yeah.
Not that John Stewart said, welcome back, Mr. Bread. Hope you and Mrs. Bread are well. Did the Frostbacks banish you guys for Mrs. Bread's poutine disparagement? Oh, hi, Mary. Hi.
Yeah, the poutine wasn't that great.
They're just glorified cheese fries, but what's to dislike about cheese fries?
It was, Olivia said that she thinks it was the fries weren't that good. Okay. I think it was more that when I imagined it, it would be like breaded cheese curds rather than cheese curds that are where it's just the cheese. It was fine. It wasn't great. I didn't even like the cheese. Mainly the fries and gravy were fine for me. I could have just eaten the fries and gravy. Didn't even need the cheese.
Wait, is that supposed to be like a Canadian thing?
Yeah, I guess. Apparently, we bought poutine chips too and brought them home.
I had no idea.
And I stocked up on all dressed chips because in America right now, at least where we are, the only all dressed chips you can get are like boring Lay's. I like the
Hers, right?
No. These are I forget which the other one. Like they're not like the ones with ridges. Like, you know, like
is it Utz?
These aren't.
No.
I think these are I don't remember which one. And then lots of ketchup chips, which of course you can't really find here.
Cesario JPN said, thanks to your coverage with Pedro Pascal and Sabrina Carpenter, I walked in and out of a Teddy's Bigger Burger location that had flyers advertising the local Dolls chapter and Pride flag on the wall.
Ruffles, thank you.
They're opening Dolls chapters like it's a nonprofit or something. Okay, that's worrying.
Yes, it was Ruffles. Thank you.
I forgot that was a brand.
Yep.
Shane H. Wilder said Geraldo. Is it Geraldo Rivera?
Geraldo Rivera.
Oh, okay. Said he probably did it because of Halo, because it has elites and grunts, and not because of substantive political discord. Make it make sense. Wait, Halo? I thought it was Helldivers references.
That's what I was
I'm
told.
confused now. Maybe both? I don't know. Okay. Yeah. I'm not listening to anybody about this stuff anymore because it's just so much conflicting information, and we're in a true crisis where you cannot find reliable information about anything like this.
That's the thing. We've reached this period now where information is so disjointed and everybody has their own framing that I just don't believe anything anymore.
Yeah.
Like it's caused me to not, like, for the people that are truly motivated, or if you're somebody like Tim, who's a curious person and who wants to call out the lies where he sees them, you have to do so much research and look into so much stuff all the time.
Mm-hmm.
All it makes me want to do is just tune out.
Yeah.
And focus on the real world, like what's in front of me.
FN said, curious to hear your thoughts. When someone passes, is it really inflammatory to say the things they said? Some of the quotes / clips are real. They aren't fabricated words. How do we handle that? I don't understand what you're saying. We're not saying it's inflammatory to say the things that Charlie Kirk said or to report on the things that he said. We're saying that it's being misreported.
Also, look,
and also we're saying that even when it's not being misreported or misquoted, it's still being used as a justification for what was done to him, which is absolutely
and then
unacceptable.
There's the whole thing with Stephen King talking about how he advocated for the stoning of gay people, which was, of course, not true. And my problem with that is more like it's indicative of the whole thing, right? Which is like you're quick to say something. You're not quick to check on whether it actually happened or not. And Stephen King, I guess to his credit, apologized multiple times, but will learn nothing.
Apologized once half-heartedly.
Twice,
then,
right?
Then apologized with an actual apology. But yeah, that's...
And it doesn't matter. If tomorrow I went out and said a bunch of slurs and curse words, it doesn't mean somebody should shoot me.
Or even if, let's say, even if you made a post where you were inciting violence or something, if you said something truly heinous, still doesn't mean that someone should shoot you dead.
Yeah. Like, with everything that you saw that Bob Vylan said, doesn't mean something bad should happen to him.
Nope. Yeah, exactly. Shane H. Wilder said, I said the same thing last night. I rarely use demonic hyperbolically. Even Tim coming around to that conclusion, poco a poco, little by little. Yeah, I've seen him talk about that he isn't religious, but he has come to understand that, like, demons are real from the behavior that we're observing right now. Surinko Productions said, congrats again, Brett and Olivia. So if you hyphenated, is it Brett Dasovic Claire or Claire Dasovic or Dasovic Claire?
It's Brett Claire Dasovic, of course.
Snozhead said, "This is all because of the left demon-possessed meat puppets." I think that the spiritual problems are even deeper than the left-right distinction, honestly. And even that, to say that is controversial.
Yeah, I don't like the left, I think part of it's because I have this natural inclination to try and categorize and put things into a box, probably for my own edification. It helps me understand the world. And then you realize how much those boxes limit you in your understanding of larger concepts. And I think that that's partially a criticism of myself, that I tend to fall into that world. I look at people and I want to understand, like, how do they associate? Who do they associate? What does that mean for them? When really people are far more complex than their associations and these labels could ever give them. I mean, even for someone like me who works here, I don't know. Like, I don't like giving myself labels. Why should I want to give anybody else said labels? I guess. Like, I know it's a tired thing to say, but it's like, socially, for the most part, I'm still pretty liberal in, outside of the most egregious things like the surgeries on minors and things like that we've, it's an endless discussion. We could have it all day long, whatever. I don't know. And I don't think that the labels are helpful, even if my inclination is to go towards using them with people, and I'm trying to get away from that.
Dark Horse Productions said, "Thanks for streaming, the beautiful people." You're welcome.
Talking about the Marilyn Manson song?
I don't know. Shane H. Wilder said Hollywood would try and make Buffalo Bill the hero. I can see the marketing now. He just wanted a tucking swimsuit and to be loved. Sponsored by Olay. Yeah, that's... I mean, I think they're so fearful of writing a story or even just reminding people of a good story that involved a violent autogynephile. Like, they're not gonna touch that with a 10-foot pole. It's just not gonna happen.
In the chat, JP says he will only get more liberal now that he has settled down. Hopefully the pod doesn't suffer. How does settling down make you more liberal?
Shouldn't the opposite
I thought the idea was always like, if you're not liberal when you're young, you have no heart. If you're not conservative when you're old, you have no money.
I have no heart. Pop Culture Junkie said the word on Zendaya in LA is her staff, agents, PR, etc. are all nice people, that she's very sensitive to people representing her professionally.
You know what? This episode has made me come around. I am now going to become the ardent Zendaya defender.
Okay.
I've changed course.
The way that I defend Scooter Braun.
Yeah. I'm now going to be Zendaya's #1 defender.
I was just thinking earlier, like, do you think that Scooter Braun gets, like, approached by fans in public? Like, of course he gets recognized in public.
I'm sure.
If I saw Scooter Braun in public, I'd be like, Scooter, is that you? I'm such a big fan. And he'd be like, what? Why? I'm like a villain. I thought...
Maybe that's the problem. He's like, people recognize me, but the only people that recognize me hate me.
Or Swifties who hate him, yeah. Exactly. So, I mean, I wonder if he gets approached by, like, people who are an actual fan.
It's got to happen.
It would be just me.
They're like, hey, I saw you in that Justin Bieber documentary. I loved, what was the...
Never Say Never.
Never Say Never.
Yeah. Kyle Dixon said, congratulations, Mr. and Mrs. Dasovic.
Thank you.
Shane H. Wilder said, yo, actors.
And Olivia says thank you as well.
To quote Alice Cooper, you're just another famous face, no earthly good, no saving grace. You don't do nothing. You just take up space.
There you go.
It's a good quote. FN said, Brett, do you feel different since getting married?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I don't...
The responsibility.
There's a lot of responsibility to it. And in general, there's... to me, it's... my life has just changed a lot since 2020 even. So I see myself as a vastly different person than I was before. And this is just another representation of all of the work that I've done to kind of grow and change. And in a lot of ways, finding someone as amazing as Olivia is just... it's a good thing, and it's indicative of that.
No Control said, make chips at home with beef tallow. Super easy.
I'm not doing that, okay? I'm not the best I can do is Trader Joe's olive oil kettle chips.
You see, that sounds like not easy. I'm gonna just say it. That sounds not easy, and I'm not going to do that. And when I eat potato chips, I already want to feel like a piece of shit, and I want to feel like shit the next day. It actually, I don't know. I don't feel like shit the next day. Like that's maybe it's just by virtue of being young still. But what's the whole beef tallow thing? Like people act like it's some kind of like key to health. Like it's actually not. You're just eating fat. Like that's not really good for you either. It's better than eating seed oils, I guess, but it's not good for you.
So what I do to trick myself, we go to the dollar store and I get the smaller bags of chips. That way I can literally limit how many I can consume by the amount I buy at one time so that I don't have a bunch available to me. But I've gotten pretty good, and also I've cut out like everything, but I indulged in a soda while I was on
good for you.
vacation, and it was so sweet that it was almost too much.
You need to get into ice cream floats.
I need to get into that. But I drink I tweeted the other day, I said it took 39 years, but I finally like water. But to the most part, it's still sparkling. Like it's like 20 gazillion years of soda means that carbonated water is still my preference.
It's better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I drink the regular water at work.
There's a gimmick I'm not falling for. Beef tallow skincare. Keep that shit the hell away from my face.
Does Alex Clark talk about beef tallow skincare?
I mean, I bet that she's an adherent, but I'm never going to do that. We have a 20 from Pat the Plumber. I wanted to catch the show today, but this stupid thing called work got in the way. I want to congratulate my hero, Brett Dasvik, on his wedding. Also, I want to say Tate was never my hero, but that was fake news pushed by the MSM. Tate was never your hero.
Well,
okay.
Tate,
we'll let him know.
I mean, Tate should be your hero. Tate's like young and gung-ho about like getting ahead and changing the culture and making the world a better place, and that's a good thing.
Guy. The library mouse said, "Welcome back, Brett."
Thank you.
Everyone's happy you're here.
I'm just glad. Like I came in today and like ran a bunch of checks to make sure that everything still worked, and I had to like remind myself how everything worked. Like I was like, "Where is this folder again?"
There were some headaches. Olivia Dasovic said, asking Brett to show the photos I sent him of the honeymoon to show the audience in order, please. Should only take a minute.
Yes.
We do have a minute left. We have a 20, though, from Shane H. Wilder. Tim reacted to an Ascension interview with an aide to an exorcist today. He really wants to get an exorcist on. He needs Father Carlos Martins. As long as he brings y'all rosaries touched to the true cross, I have one from him. Yeah, I think that would be a really interesting discussion on either Timcast or Culture War or on Inverted World, or all three.
Yeah.
I really wanted to get an exorcist on the show for the 666th episode, but that didn't end up happening because of scheduling issues. I won't say who it was, though. I
will show some of these photos. Now, I can't download them, so I'm going to... I got to try not dox my inbox. But I'm going to show some of these photos, and I'll show...
don't do that.
I'll show them
don't dox.
one at a time. These were the... Madame Tussauds, like it's not even Madame Tussauds.
Well, it's like some other wax.
It was Tussauds, but it wasn't Madame Tussauds. Wax Museum.
Mr. Tussauds.
It was basically Mr. Tussauds, and these are some of the worst you're ever gonna see.
I saw one of these pictures.
So here is the first one. Oh, here's Scary Bart.
Ew.
Bart looks.
That's nightmare fuel.
That is nightmare fuel right there. Now we got to go back here. Now hold on while I get the rest of these here. Here is Scary Lisa.
I don't like that.
It's so horrifying.
I don't like that at all. How big is that? Is that like as tall as you?
Not quite as tall as me.
But close?
It's probably comes up to here.
Ew.
Let's get some
It's giving me Uncanny Valley.
Here is like Rachel Maddow, Harry Potter.
Oh, yeah, the hair isn't great.
No, it's not.
Okay.
And
He's
perhaps
mid-air.
the worst of all, I don't know what Miley Cyrus this is supposed to be.
Wait, is that her as Hannah Montana?
Apparently her as Hannah Montana. It says from Hannah Montana, the movie. Yes, it is.
That's some bullshit right there.
We were dying. We were literally crying.
The Twilight one was awful. The one that you sent me.
Mary the Twilight.
The Twilight, Edward and Bella at that museum are a travesty.
Yes,
a crime against Twilight.
It was all very bad. So there you go, guys. They were horrible.
But that's the charm of it.
Yep.
I bet they know that it's horrible.
Well, there was a couple that were pretty good. I also posted like
was there a Taylor Swift.
John Wick. There was a Taylor Swift one. It didn't really look like Taylor Swift. I mean, there was a John Wick one that like the hair didn't look right. It didn't really.
The
look
hair should
like
be the
John Wick.
easiest part.
Oddly enough, it had to be from the first John Wick because he was carrying the P30L, and that looked more accurate than the rest of it. Olivia says, show the nice one. I don't know if it, I can try, Olivia, but I don't know if it will show because it's a horizontal photo, but give me 1 second here.
No Control, in the meantime, said, beef tallow is a good fat. I get regular blood tests and cholesterol results greatly improved with daily beef tallow snacks. Well, that's great for you.
There was us at Casa Loma, which is a very famous
castle?
It's a castle and all sorts of movies. So X-Men was filmed there. All sorts of TV shows were filmed there, and you go do a tour. Well, I mean, you don't pay for that. Like you pay to get in, but you don't take like a guided tour. But you go through this huge building, and there's all sorts of like real world history there as well. But let's face it, I don't really care about the real world history. I just wanted to look at all the movies that were made there.
I think we're all caught up on the Superchats,
all
though.
of them?
Unless they're more on Rumble.
Let me double check on Rumble just
we
to
were
make
really
sure.
not even looking at Rumble the
No,
past week.
I can't. No, oh, that's okay. I think we're all caught up everywhere, so we're good to go. Make sure that one last time. We are. All right. Okay. All right, ladies and gentlemen, before we go, would you hit the like button on this video, please, and subscribe to the channel if you're new here and you have not subscribed here yet already. Like I said at the beginning of the video, you should go ahead and do that, and you should share it out with everybody so that they can join the show. Watch us live. Mary.
You guys can send me validation on Instagram at Mary Archived, or you can send me hate on X. That is also Mary Archived. And help me get TikTok famous. That is also Mary Archived.
Perfect. Guys, if you want to follow me, I am on Instagram and on X at Brett Dasovic on both of those platforms. We are here 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is, of course, noon Pacific. We are on Amazon Music, Apple Podcasts, Pandora, and Spotify. If you would like to listen rather than just watch this show, perhaps in the car on your way to work. You can also rate and review on Apple Podcasts and on Spotify, which helps us out a lot. And if you want to follow us on social media, we are on Twix at PopCulture_show, Facebook at Pop Culture Crisis, Instagram at Pop Culture Crisis Pod. We're getting so close to a 4th Crisis Party. There's one more super chat there from Shane H. Wilder.
I think that might have actually gotten the 4th party, but we're not sure yet. Was the Wax Museum ran by one of those cheap Mexican Tepito Market knockoff shops? If you know, you know.
No.
I don't even know what.
There was okay. So
I don't know. No.
There was actually 2 wax museums. One of them was a little bit better than the other one. There was also a Ripley's, believe it or not, that we went through. That was a lot of fun as well. But I don't know if that gave us the 4th Crisis Party, but okay, yes. Well, then stay tuned, guys, for a post-credit Crisis Party. We will see you guys tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye, everyone. There it is. Mary doesn't even have the headphones on. It's so much louder without the headphones. Took it off for like 1 second. Horrible. All right, guys. See you tomorrow.